Hey everyone, Tracy here. Welcome to this little video which will involve a very loose sketch over the top of a painted background. So I have hundreds of these sheets in a box in my studio, and what I do often is I will either use watercolor paper as a palette, and then at the end of my session, I'll loosen up the blobs of paint and swoosh them around the page and do some little dots, add some water, maybe add some white ink in with it, scribble with some pencil, and then I end up with a little background that is completely unintentional and that I really could do anything on top of, you know. There's like, the possibilities are endless with what you can do with these pieces. So much so that sometimes I actually feel overwhelmed going into that box because I'm like, okay, what can I do on here? I could do flowers, I could do this, I could do that. And then I'm like, okay, put it back. I don't know what to do. I'm not going to do anything. So what I'm going to do today, just to have a little play, have some fun, no expectations. I try and, when I'm doing these videos, I try and be in the mindset of, you know what, if it doesn't work out, there might be something for you to learn from it. Or if it's a complete mess, I can not ever put this video out in public. So let's see what happens. And I'm just trying to decide what to start with. I think I'm going to go all in and start with a continuous line drawing. And I'm going to do it in black. So, and I'm going to make it a bit wobbly and a bit wonky. I don't want to be precious, but I want one of the ears to have some pink in it, okay? So I'm going to start, I'm holding the pencil right at the end. So when you are working loosely with continuous line or with a blind contour drawing, it's a good idea not to get tight, you know, just to stay loose, stay floppy, and look at the image as much as you're looking at your page, right? So I'm going to mostly look at the image and just feel my way around, looking at the shapes, looking at the, excuse the noise in the background. We have some people in our Airbnb right now and they're having a lot of fun. Looking at what leads to what. So I'm going to say that maybe there's an eye around about here. And like I said, if it's wonky, all the better, right? This is not a place to get worried about perfection when you're doing a continuous line drawing. Nobody's judging, except maybe yourself. I think sometimes the wonkier, the better when you're doing work like this. You can twist your pencil. You can go backwards and adjust lines if you realize you didn't get it quite right. Goes down about there. And as I said, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't even have to work out. You could just call it a warm-up and move on. And warm-ups are absolutely essential to your growth as an artist. I'm just following this line around. Now this one, I'm going to go back up. I'm going to trace my line all the way back up. And I just want to make sure that my bits are going to meet in the middle. Does that make sense? I don't want to kind of just go all the way around and then realize that nothing's meeting up where it should. So let's start here. So while I'm doing this, I'm kind of assessing how far there is between. So really, his face should come down a little further. You don't want that much space between the bottom and the top, right? although maybe he's a chubby kitty. And then this tail is going to come down and go up here. Body. And down here is a little paw sticking out. So it's pretty much in the right place, I think. All right, what I'm going to do now is just strengthen a couple of these lines. Okay. And add in a little bit of patterning, and add in a little bit of patterning. I'm using a Stabilo. Actually, it's not a Stabilo, it's a Carbothello pencil. I'm hoping this allows me to blend a little bit. I thought it was a Stabilo, but we shall see. And then we'll bring in some here. And maybe he is sitting on a rug. Okay, let's just see if this water is going to move the pencil a little bit. And it does, yeah. Just move that around. It's pretty cute. So wherever you see the darks, let's pull them down. I'm going to try and leave a little bit of that patterning so we don't kind of get rid of it completely. And I'm going to add in some Neocolor in Jade Green on the little rug. Just picking up some of the texture that was on the existing piece of paper. Let's pull that out. Maybe that's a little ball or something that it's playing with. Just using a yellow Holbein colored pencil to bring out some tassels. And then I'm going to use a little gel pen to try and bring a bit of life into his eyes. This is just a white Signo Uniball pencil. And then I'll start with some white markings also in the gel pen, but I'm probably going to have to move on to some white ink, I think, because there's a bit too much white. So let's do this. Let's drop in some white ink, and then we can do some details with the gel pen a little bit later on. So wherever I see white, I'm going to add it in. You don't need a whole bunch. A little bit goes a long way with these inks. In fact, that's probably overkill. And I'm also going to add a little bit of this russet in the near color, just where we see those lines, a little bit of color in the body. We can always strengthen that later on. All right, let's see how that works. If we move the white around, just Daler-Rowney white acrylic ink. It's going to mix a little bit with the Carbothello pencil. That'll give us a little gray. And a little bit of blue where the rug color is coming in. It's all good. You just go with it. Whatever happens is what happens. And then you make it a part of the drawing. So you can see I'm not getting rid of all of the undercolors. I am leaving a little bit of what is peeking through. Looking a little funny right now, but that's okay. I'm going to get a dry brush. I'm going to make this brush nice and dry and just skim the edges of the white. And I will deepen up that dark in a little while as well. And then we have a choice here that we could leave the background as it is, or if we wanted to pop out a little bit more, we could actually use another, let's see, what could we do? I'm thinking a little bit of neo color, either in purple violet, mauve, or cobalt blue. What do we think? Kind of leaning towards the purples, even though this is a blue background. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to pull this in, scribbly, allow it to pick up the textures underneath. I might leave the bottom area light, as if it's on a light floor. The thing is that when you're experimenting, you have to be okay with trying things out. You have to not let yourself get into that kind of mode where it's like, oh God, I just did something that just ruined it, or I wish that I didn't do that. Play mode, exploration mode is for you to remember things you loved and things you didn't like so much. Not for you to judge in a negative way. Okay, so with these Neocolor 2s, we can take a brush and we can blend them out, or we can leave it as a drawn line. So I kind of am liking it more blended out. Maybe I'll leave a little bit of the drawn line over on this side here. And again, you know, just make it a little rough, like leave little glimpses of the underlayers. I can come back in with those tassels later on. That's silly because I just realized the rug should be sitting on the floor, so that shouldn't have gone down so far. It's funny the things that you do. So really what there should be is there should be a line up here of where the wall is and where the floor is, right? So let's do this. Let's pull this all the way down so that there's some differentiation between the wall and the floor. And we'll just put lots and lots of water into it. And we may even be able to lift a little bit. There we go. So we have a little bit of moody purple on the floor, but we've managed to lift a lot of it. There are many ways to save a painting when you've made a mistake. And playing, exploring, experimenting will help you figure those out. All right, cool, it's looking good. Can't really put any more details in until this dries. So I would like to deepen up the blacks. What I could do is just lift a little bit of the white. So same method, using a rag or a tissue. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of Payne's Grey, just a tiny touch, because I'll be able to move this around. A little bit there, a little bit there. That should be enough. And just take a small brush and we'll move it around without, we'll see if we can do it without touching the white. We don't want it to run through the white because it's going to make a whole bunch of grays. This is a brush that's been in the water too long and it has curved over, but it's okay, I can work with it. See how dramatic that Payne's Grey is, what it's adding. Just picking it up, moving it around wherever I see it. I'm actually allowing for a little bit of the white to mix, and that way we've got some grays coming in as well. But if you want to get back to the pure black, you'll need to wash your brush. And then we're going to work on this tail. Moving it along. He's starting to come to life. I like the little repetition of the dots here and here. Not everything has to have a meaning, right? I'm going to add a little bit of purple along this edge. Oh, it's still a bit wet, so we'll wait till that dries. I just want it to be a bit deeper there because, as you can see, there's a shadow here. And then just adjust the eyes a little. Better. And as things begin to dry, we can add in things like little whiskers. I feel like we need a different color up here. Now this may or may not work. This is an Ecoline brush pen. Yeah, it's working. It'll work as long as there's nothing coming over the top of it as far as other paints. But I think and I hope that the white gel pen will work over the top. That's a nice color for all of these little variations, little undertones and markings. And then I think I'm going to do the same with a little pink little pastel red eco line brush pen. That one doesn't show up as well, so I might have to actually add a little bit of a different kind of pink in there, maybe a bit of pencil over the top. Let's bring some whiskers down here. And then gel pens do not like to they don't like to get mixed up with crayons. And this one is getting a little bit of crayon on it. Let me just find another. No, that one's not working. Okay, here's a newer one that's hopefully going to work a little bit better. Yep, okay. And lots of little hairs in the ear. Little hairs above. Little details. So wherever you've got the black, you've also got some little white hairs poking through. Around the edges. Soften them, blend them with your fingers. Little scribbly bits, and you can kind of make it up as well. Like if you want to make it even more character filled, add in some more scribbly bits. Break up any of those harsh lines. I like that one eye now looks like it's kind of raised up. And then we can do the same with the black pencil and come back and just do a little bit of line work to describe the fur. Give a little bit more roughness. Come back in with the yellow. I feel like I'd like to warm up this rug a little bit, so I'm going to change the color up. So again, using a Neo Color 2 in Russet, and just pull it around. We'll drag it out, and again, we'll see what happens. Just felt like that color wasn't really doing much. So I like that earthiness a bit better. But now I feel like the background needs a bit of oomph. So here's the thing, right? You can keep on adding and adding and adding. I have to be a little bit careful though, because the Neo Color will react with whatever we put over the top. So if I put something that's opposite, like a mustard or something like that, it's just going to go murky gray. But if I put something that will tie in with it, like for example a magenta or a red or a hot pink, then it will work. It will just kind of blend together. So I think what I might do is, I don't know, something's pulling me towards red, but I kind of feel like I want to do red with a little bit of hot pink. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm gonna grab some cadmium red. I'm a big mixer on the paper person. That needs a bit of a shake. Better. And then I'm going to dip my brush in some neon pink that I bought in Mexico. It's not a brand that I've seen anywhere else. It's called Pinto, the brand. And I'm going to just do this. And I'm going to mix that red and the pink on the page right over the top of that purple. Ooh. And that's more like it. That's giving me much more of a lift. So you see how easy it is to change background colors? So don't worry if you choose a color that you don't end up liking. Just try something else. As I said, of course, there are some rules, like you don't want to put something over the top of the Neo colors that's going to mix with it and make mud. But if you put something that is in a similar color family on the same side of the color wheel, you should be fine. Well, that's much better. Okay. tempted to put this red somewhere else now, but I think that would be a mistake. So I'm going to leave it there. And I think he's a little cutie. Maybe just a few more tassels that stand out a little bit more. And let's say we are done. I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you pull out some backgrounds that you have sitting around and just make a move, make any move, throw something on top of it, have a play, have an explore, and see how you go. Okay, bye for now.